He joins the start for the first open event of the regatta, the Diamond Sculls. We're seeing here Poulsen of Denmark versus Tim Wilkinson, Greenbank, Falmouth, Cornwall.
Yeah, significantly 24 men in this event. That's a big entry for them, but that shows the depth, strength and depth of this. It's great to see Tim Wilkinson. I think he's in his 6th Henley, so there, Greenbank, Falmouth athlete, very experienced here.
But a little slip from that Danish scholar. Poulsen has moved out over clear water as he comes off the end of the island.
It's interesting, isn't it, that Poulsen, you'd expect the form to be with this athlete. He's got a whole load of years at World Rowing Championships in 8s and 4s, and he's come through and now in his single scull, having raced in Copenhagen Regatta, Rottenberg Regatta, the regattas that we all hear about, and he has now come to Henley Royal Regatta to try his luck against the 24 men. He's met Tim Wilkinson from Greenbank, Falmouth, an experienced Henley competitor, but it's the Danish athlete that had pushed away.
Now, every event here in Henley is stacked, but the Diamonds this year is especially stacked. We're going to see many, many international rowers, just like Poulsen, coming here and really putting on a show for us. Probably the jewel in the crown, Ollie Zeidler, the world champion sculler, about to go to Paris. We'll see him later on in the week.
Yeah, I umpired Ollie's final last year, and it was an impressive sight to watch. And all those men who are coming here will know that they have him and other Olympic qualifiers in the draw. It's a really exciting draw, and that's why we were able to put 24 crews into the event. You know, Jess, you and I are both on the committee, so you know how much time we spend around that committee table. You know, of course, we have a couple of members who spend a lot more than us. We're lucky to come in at the end, but you know, making those decisions, when we get a field like this, we make sure that we can have as many athletes as we can into it. So 24 here, Tim Wilkinson finding himself up against Poulsen from Denmark in this first round.
Poulsen here, I mean, this is a rower who trains and competes in the national team, really. That's who we're looking at. He's just missed out on a seat in their national 4. He still races a spare with them. He's a full-time athlete. He's training 3 times a day. That pedigree is hard to come up against, isn't it, if you're Tim Wilkinson from Greenbank?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, because he's been racing at that club now for 12 years. He rows on a 1,400-metre stretch at St Tithian's Lake in Cornwall, so you've got a fantastic lake. We looked earlier at their website and it looked amazing, really beautiful sight to row. But now, you know, you've only got 1,400 metres to train on. You're having to turn a lot. I used to remember when Eton Dorney, and I am that old, was being dug, and we only had at that point about 1,400 metres. So Tim, we have also done that, and we know what it's like. We also had a big digger coming in to dig it while we were rowing, and that created a little bit of wash, I can tell you. But you know, it does make a difference, doesn't it?
Makes a massive difference, Sarah. The course here you're looking at, staring down towards the finish line, is 2,112 metres. So Tim doesn't actually get to race or train that far in a session. So it's hard. I'm sure he's very good at spinning around. I'm sure he takes his boat to other bits of water. But coming here and seeing the pedigree of this sculler and seeing his pedigree through the years here at Henley, really testament to how good an athlete he is.
And it is, it's a great opportunity, isn't it, for athletes in Cornwall to have a club to come and row at, and it clearly isn't stopping them. You know, we've got Tim here, a fantastic performance here we're watching right here, and in the Princess Grace Cup also we've got Zara Poffney. She's racing now, she's gone off to Reading University. She'll be under Will Rand at the moment, but yeah, we'll I'm sure be still giving a nod out to her club.
Cornwall is very southwest of the British Isles. It's mainly famous for on the sea rowing, gig rowing.
And beauty, and what a beautiful part of the isle it is.
It's famous for its pasties and its beaches.
And Annie Vernon, who we used to row with. And I think Frances Holton as well, she's gone there, and Helen Glover. We can't not mention Helen Glover, who's preparing for the Olympic Games right now.
So it turns out it's a hotbed of international rowers, Cornwall.
Good. You heard it here first.
The crews come towards us now. They're just approaching the enclosures. You can see them out of our window. It's quite a long way, this race in a single scull. You're rowing against the stream. So here we're on the Thames. It's not a tidal course down where you see kind of the boat races or the big races further towards London, which is about 40 miles further east of us here. But there is stream. The river's still flowing out, and they're going against that stream.
Yeah, it is, and there's been a fair bit of stream, and it makes a real difference, doesn't it, over the course. And I think the wind is just a little bit of a headwind, a holding wind for these athletes. I used to quite like it because you can lean back into it, and you can see the Danish rower there, Askel Poulsen here. He's really pressing through, using his legs, leaning it through, and actually not doing so much with his arms and his back at the end. He's just using the strong, big muscles.
You hear the claps towards the finish line, everyone applauding. This is probably one of the hardest boat classes to race in. You're all by yourself, no one around you, no cox telling you what to do. You're steering it all, and you're giving yourself the race plan. So huge respect to these actual warriors of our sport in the single sculls. It's a lonely place. And see here Poulsen crossing the line in first place. Spirited row again. Win for Poulsen of Denmark, the Diamond Challenge Sculls over Tim Wilkinson.
Yeah, and you can see what it cost him. Those lungs, they're being filled back in now. Getting ready. Well raced, Tim.